Good morning. I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. I have a latte to sip on, but I'll do that like off mic as much as possible. And I was going to look at this USA Today Weekend Edition, which I think they put this out on, I think it's Friday morning, and then it's meant to last you Friday, Saturday, and Sunday because there's no news on the weekends. The news takes the weekend off. But I happen to be walking up by the 7-Eleven, so I just thought, well, I'll grab it and we can look at it. So there's Ted Danson. That is not the best picture I've ever seen of Ted Danson. I've been watching a lot of times at night when I'm kind of done watching other shows. I would turn on Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he's so funny on that show. I just think he's so funny. I just finished watching, oh my goodness, I forgot the name again. The lightning one about Garfield, the President Garfield. I just talked about this in another video, and when the person said, I'm like, yeah, and now I've forgotten it again. But anyway, I thought it was good. It was about the assassination of James Garfield, the president, who was assassinated he died at like 6 months into his presidency. And then I started watching, I think it's called The Beast in Me with Claire Danes. I think it might be good. I'm only on episode 2 so far, and there are some writing things and I'm like, that's mid. Some of the writing, but the acting's great, and we'll see where that one goes. And then I'm also watching the reality show of Squid Game. I don't know why. I love that show. They do this game of catch. It's catch, you guys. You throw the ball and the other person catches it. It is the most dramatic game of catch. And you're like, I was literally like on the edge of my seat going, what's going to happen? Will he catch it? It's kind of fun. All right. Theme park trip canceled. I'm not going to read the whole thing. We'll just kind of skim the articles and see what's going on. Costco $1.50 hot dog combo is more popular than ever. Yeah, they have these at Costco, this huge hot dog and a Coke for $1.50, or like a soft drink, It is a deal. I've only had it once, and it was actually on vacation in Michigan. We landed at the airport, picked up my mom and dad, went to the Costco to get supplies for our family reunion, and we all stopped and had a hot dog and a soda. And for I don't know, 10 of us, it was like $13. It is a deal if you're willing to eat a hot dog. Look at this guy's got a hot dog and a Pepsi tattoo. Wow. Joey Kinsley found a claim to fame when he ate nothing but Costco hot dogs for 7 straight days. Oh no, don't do that. That can't be good. Tom Salikov, who worked in Costco food court as a teenager, wears his heart on his sleeve. I don't think that's very good. A farewell to the grand old party. So the grand old party is the GOP, which is the Republican Party of the U.S. Former President George W. Bush remembers his Vice President Dick Cheney at the Washington National Cathedral. Dick Cheney was Vice President under George W., and he died recently. They had a funeral. And apparently Trump and Vance were not invited, which I assume was Cheney's decision before he died. He was not a fan of Trump. Okay, what is this? Silent No More, Voices of 1,000. Oh my God. Epstein survivors are still coming forward. Jeffrey Epstein victimized at least 1,000 women and children, the Justice Department says. His survivors don't want that to be forgotten. I mean, think about that. 1,000. Sheesh. I am one story of 1,000, said Danielle Bensky, who said she was 17 when she met Epstein in 2004. Think of that number, 1,000. We are representation of women across America. We come from different backgrounds. We have different religions. We are different races, different creeds, different ethnicities. We have different political affiliations. You know, I put up that video the other day. I don't know, was it a week ago? About the Epstein. I can't think of the name of the bill now, but anyway, the Epstein Files bill that was going through the House and then had to go to Congress and then the president's desk. And I talked about how Congress could stall it and this and that, but they ended up passing it right away. And in the comments, somebody said something along the lines of "this aged well," like sarcastically, like "this aged well." First of all, it's still a good video about how a bill passes through the House, the Senate, and Congress. The president's desk and what happens. I'll stand by that. Second of all, I hate to use the word gaslight, but to pretend like Trump and the Republican Party wasn't trying to say they didn't want to have anything to do with the Epstein bill and didn't want to pass it, and to act like they were all behind it the whole time, that's not legitimate, and I refuse to be told that at this point. I mean, there was plenty of, okay, whatever, never mind. Some of the accusers say they contacted the FBI and local police in the 1990s but weren't taken seriously. That makes me mad. 6 years after Epstein's death, hundreds of women who call themselves survivor sisters became the driving force behind the renewed public pressure to identify Epstein's associates they say assaulted them or participated in his trafficking ring. Their advocacy pushed the House and Senate to vote to demand the release of the Justice Department's investigative files into Epstein. But in the months leading up to the vote, the topic increasingly turned into a political bludgeon and a partisan blame game. President Donald Trump pressured Republicans not to join the effort to produce the documents, referring to it as the Epstein hoax and calling a Republican who wanted to release the records a traitor. He abruptly turned to support the measure when it was clear it would pass. Trump signed it late November 19th. Yeah, and the other thing, he keeps saying this, it's a Democratic hoax, but then he also said that he kicked Epstein out of Mar-a-Lago, I don't know, because he knew he was what did he call him, a pervert or a dirty dog or something, and that he was stealing his girls. So it's not like he didn't know. It's all okay. The survivors who have come forward say they're infuriated that their trauma was used for politics and that their experiences were diminished. That was why I didn't want to talk about it at first, because that's what I felt like. They were being used as political pawns, and that really irritates the heck out of me. None of us here signed up for this political warfare. We never asked to be dragged into battles between people who never protected us in the first place. Wow. I gotta read this. This is interesting. Where's the rest of it? Okay. Wendy Avis said at a news conference, "We are exhausted from surviving the trauma and then surviving the politics that swirl around it." Yeah, they're being used as pawns. It's crazy. Terrible. Teresa Helm told USA Today she hopes the files will provide new information on people who were engaged in sex trafficking with Epstein and Maxwell. That's the other thing, that Maxwell thing. Anyway, as well as the people who profited or benefited from it in some way. She says she was assaulted by Epstein in 2002 at what she thought was a job interview. I do think it's important for people to know because knowing what he did is knowing what everyone else did alongside him. Too many powerful people involved are living with impunity, carrying on their lives and their businesses while hundreds of women have had to rebuild their lives. I think we're all willing to keep speaking and pushing and taking all the steps necessary to try to get through the political theater, get through the saga series of the Epstein files. There's like a crease and all that. But what we need is further investigation. She thought she was the only one. For 17 years, I thought I was the only one, she said. Oh my God, how terrible. Can you imagine? And then you find out, oh no, there are others. Oh no, there are more. Oh no, there are more. Oh no, there's tons of them. The truth is simple. We were victimized as children and failed repeatedly by the very system that was supposed to protect us. She met Epstein when she was 16. The Epstein case was gravely mishandled consistently and deliberately over many years. Epstein could have been stopped decades ago. Yeah. When you threaten one of us, you're threatening all of us. We are together now, and that's never going to change. Good for them. Many are still terrified. More survivors across the country and around the world have reached out, text, emails, DMs, firsthand accounts, and evidence. Many are still terrified to speak publicly because the men involved are powerful. They're connected, and as we know, they are protected. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's the story. Check. What does this say? Check theme park cancellation policies. What is this about? This is so good. I don't know why they're talking about canceling your theme parks. When the weather outside is frightful, theme park visits are far from delightful. Okay, I think I've told this story about one time when I was like in the 1980s. Our family, we were from Michigan, and we went to Florida for between like Christmas and New Year's, I think. And this one day, it just snowed ever so slightly. But it was cold. It was real cold. And we're from Michigan, so we're like, got our winter coats and whatever. It was probably, I don't know, 30 degrees. So for us, it felt warm. And so we go to Disney World, and nobody was there. The place was like a ghost town practically. Every ride we could just walk right on. And most of their rides are kind of interior, so the snow doesn't really matter. Like, you know, Haunted Mansion and Small World, and like they're all inside anyway. But yeah, we had the park to ourselves because I don't know. I guess people were scared of the snow. Patient in hospital after first human case of bird flu linked to rare strain. A strain of bird flu never seen in humans has infected a Washington state resident and left the person hospitalized. How did he get it? In early January, a backyard flock keeper. Like he had a bird feeder, or like, what does that mean? Hospitalized with bird flu in Louisiana, or is it like chickens? What are we talking about? Became the first person in the United States to die of the disease after contracting the virus D1.1 variant. The person was over 65 and was reported to have underlying medical conditions. State and local departments are working with Washington State Department of Agriculture. Okay, bird flu is a disease caused by influenza type A virus found in wild aquatic birds. Most human cases have occurred in people exposed to sick or infected animals. According to CDC, 71 cases of bird flu have been reported in humans. Of the cases, 41 were connected to infected dairy cows and 24 were connected to infected poultry. Who's at risk? The virus most commonly spreads among wild birds, but can also infect poultry, livestock, and other mammals, including goats, coyotes, and opossums. An outbreak among chickens earlier in 2025 prompted a widespread egg shortage. Raw and undercooked foods, including cheeses, also can carry the virus. Well, there you go. New international enrollments plummet at U.S. universities. I imagine because they kind of kicked a lot of the international students out at the beginning of all this immigration stuff. So I wouldn't be jumping at it right now if I were international. I know like the Chinese students a lot were, let's see, what did they say? The number of international students newly enrolling in American universities plummeted this fall, according to figures released November 17th. As foreign-born students navigate visa restrictions and other hurdles imposed by the Trump administration. The study conducted by the Institute of International Education, a nonpartisan organization, said new international student enrollments declined by 17%, the largest drop in more than a decade. Well, I know like one of my nieces is getting her doctorate, and I think the funding was cut off for her program. She's in the middle of studying, so I think she's thinking about going to like somewhere in Europe to finish her studies. So not only this, but I think it's kind of what they call brain drain, where they're going to other countries to finish their degrees and stuff, and then they may end up staying there, you know. I don't know. In May, the administration moved to halt international students from entering the country to study at Harvard University, a move that was blocked by a federal judge. That month, Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the United States would aggressively revoke visas from Chinese students. Yet recently, the administration has sent mixed messages on its stance regarding international students, who researchers say contribute to local economies nationwide and help create new jobs. Last week, Trump defended a plan he announced in August to give 600,000 visas to Chinese students looking to study in the U.S., arguing that foreign students are vital to keeping American universities afloat. Yeah, that kind of mixed messaging would scare me off a little. I'd be like, well, how do I know? It's not that I want them, but I view it as a business, he said on the Ingram angle. Trump said slashing the number of international students coming into the United States would destroy our entire university and college system. This is a weird one. Comey prosecutor admits potential mistakes. So they were former FBI director James Comey. Well, let's see how they explain it, because I'm just trying to see what they were trying to get him on. I don't even know. But anyway, they were trying to prosecute James Comey on some I don't even know what the charges were exactly, if I'm honest. I'm trying to see. But anyway, and Trump hired, I don't know how to explain, this Halligan, Lindsay Halligan. But I don't think she's ever tried like a criminal case. She's like a lawyer. I don't know. She said that it was because she had a suit on. I don't know. It's weird. It was a funny comment. I don't know. But and then she went to the grand jury and she met with them, just her. And she said, you don't need to have all the evidence in order to bring this to trial, but they do. And the judge was like, yeah, they do. So that was a big mistake. And she said, yes, she made a mistake. But then later, I think since she's come out and said, no, I didn't make a mistake. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. They have this whole thing. They have, she failed to present final indictment to jury. Was Trump involved in the Comey prosecution? Judge questions whether indictment by Halligan is valid. Comey's alternative arguments to get case thrown out. So I don't know. There's a whole thing here. Oh yeah, this Halligan was Trump's former personal lawyer. And Bondi, who is Attorney General Pam Bondi, appointed Halligan to fill Siebert's high-ranking position, even though Halligan had never served as a prosecutor before. She secured an indictment against Comey within a handful of days, and just days before the legal deadline. Comey, through his lawyers, has highlighted many of those events in arguing that the case is vindictive. So they're talking about it all here, I guess, about the Trump of it all. So anyway, so I don't know if that'll end up just getting tossed out or what. I'm not sure. Okay, this is more about Dick Cheney's funeral. And in this picture, they have, because he was a vice president, all the vice presidents were there. So you have Pence, who was vice president under Trump the first term. You have Harris, who was vice president under Biden. You have Biden, who was vice president under Obama. And I feel like, was there somebody, who else would have been there? Is there another vice president I'm missing? Oh, Gore. Al Gore was there. He was vice president under Clinton. I guess that's everybody in Cheney, but he was there, but not alive. These people wrote a book called The Joy of Costco. The week in review. Weight loss is now cheaper. Americans will be paying a lot less for a weight loss and diabetes medication that could put a dent in the nation's obesity epidemic. After pressure from the Trump administration, drug maker Novo Nordisk has cut the direct-to-consumer price for Wegovy and Ozempic to $349 a month, down from $499, except for the highest dose. New patients would pay even less under an offer good through March 31st. About 1 in 8 adults in the United States takes the medication. 1 in 8. Well, known as GLP-1 drugs. A survey by the nonprofit KFF says, but many have faced high prices and limited insurance coverage. I sometimes wonder about these numbers because how do they really track that? Because, like, there are all these, you see all the ads for get GLP-1s. I mean, I don't think that would necessarily be on people's medical, like, how do they track that? Because aren't there HIPAA violations? They can't tell people, right? I don't know. Anyway, Amelia Earhart's last message. New documents are shedding light on the final flight of Amelia Earhart, whose fate while attempting to become the first woman to pilot a plane around the world has been a mystery since she vanished July 2nd, 1937. The records, ordered unsealed by President Donald Trump, reveal her final communication. We are on the line. 157337 WL. I don't know what these things mean. Repeat message. WEWL repeat. Plus final communication, plus various theories, including a woman who said Earhart was alive and had contacted her telepathically and claims that Earhart was captured by the Japanese and killed. Further documents releases are expected on the national. Yeah. She contacted me telepathically too. An airplane ran out of gas and she went down. Airports get back to normal. The national nightmare has ended. That's good because my son's flying home tomorrow. I can't wait. Which means I might not make videos every day because I might be busy. I don't know. He might stay at his brother's so they can go party every night. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway. Image of the week. In awe of auroras, sky watchers take in the northern lights over Barnstable, Massachusetts in this 30-second time exposure. Yeah, there were northern lights like all over the place this past week. I thought this was twin dancers stay together in death. They stayed together to the end. Alice and Ellen Kessler, singing and dancing twins who gained fame in post-World War II Europe and went on to perform with Frank Sinatra, Harry Belafonte, and Fred Astaire at the tail end of Hollywood's golden age, died by assisted suicide on November 17th. They had continued to work into their 80s and once told the German tabloid Bild they wanted to be buried in the same urn with their mother and dog. As stipulated in our will, the Kessler sisters were 89. I thought that was kind of sweet because it was probably like both of them were like, I don't want to, watch you die. Like that would be too painful. So they just decided at 89 to go out together. I was like, I kind of love that for them. I have no idea. I mean, I know there's probably religious something about this, but I have no idea why assisted suicide isn't legal in the US. Like, I don't understand that at all. At all. Like, people act like if you don't put your animal to sleep when they're in pain or suffering, you're some kind of evil person. But we let humans just suffer and give them all these drugs just to knock them out instead of just letting them have some dignity and say goodbye at their own time. I don't understand it. I'm from Royal Oak, Michigan, and that is where Dr. Kevorkian, who was known as Dr. Death during the 80s, he believed in assisted suicide and he would help people and he went to jail for it. And I was always like, why is this even an issue? If it's people's choice and if it were legal, you'd make sure you had all the paperwork filled out to make sure nobody's killing anybody, But I just don't understand it. I don't get it. Because there are some pretty miserable ways to go where you feel really bad. And wouldn't you rather just be like, today's the day, I'm going to enjoy it with my family and that's it. They had to go to Germany. They went to Germany. All right. For the holidays, choose family over politics. What is this? This is all opinion. Okay. Like, I got enough opinions of my own. For years now, we've heard about growing political polarization. My one son loves to, debate politics. And it can be a lot sometimes. And we're kind of on the same page. It's just certain issues. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. He's sometimes the reason I make certain videos. I'm like, go watch that video. He doesn't, but but I want him to. Anyway, this is why I don't feel like reading it. It's about Jimmy Kimmel's wife not talking to her family or something. Viewing political difference through the lens of morality. Sydney Sweeney and Zendaya are no longer. Okay, well, that's opinions. Trump doesn't want to hear how much Thanksgiving costs. Okay, yeah, they were showing that the Walmart Thanksgiving meal is the same or less than it was last year, but it has like less stuff in it. But I'll say I went to Aldi. I made a video kind of showing some stuff, but I think a lot of things were pretty good deals. Now, I didn't look at the turkeys. I don't know how much turkeys are because my son's work is giving him a free turkey, so we're going to go pick that up probably Monday. But if you look for sales, I think you can get pretty good deals on stuff. But like Aldi, they had potatoes cheap. They had cranberries for like 99 cents. They had stuff for green bean casserole really cheap. Although I didn't see the fried onions there. I'm sure they had them. I didn't see them. What else? Sweet potatoes were cheap. So, I don't know. All right, what do we want to look at next? Spirit of America, the Oregon Trail. That always makes me think of, everybody talks about that video game. I never played it, but I can visualize it. Saw one of the largest voluntary mass migrations in human history. The push west helped define American zeal and grit. I may save this. Maybe we should do like a video. I mean, I kind of. Well, no, I didn't. I take it back. Oh, what is this all the Oregon Trail? Okay, we'll have to look at this because I don't know what's going on here. What is this a picture? Why is this like? This is not from this guy being whipped, is it? Oh no! What? This is an 1863 photo of a formerly enslaved man named Peter showing his scarred back at a medical examination in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Oh, so bad. I won't read the first part because you'll be like, you're being political. Okay, I will. It says the Trump White House has faced criticism over efforts to downplay the horrors of slavery, including a proposal to remove from a National Park Service site the 1863 photo. Yeah. Elvis's rise to rock royalty. Okay, hold on. Now I'm confused. All right, so this part's about the Oregon Trail. This part's about uncomfortable and inspirational truths of Tubman. Underground Railroad need to be heard. Many say the road to freedom. These are almost like videos all by themselves. Harriet Tubman. There she is. I mean, the Underground Railroad. I need to do something with that, don't I? All right, we're saving this. I'm going to save this. And then here is Elvis outside of Graceland. I've been there. With his fancy, is that a Rolls Royce? I think so. Back when he was young and cute. And here's a picture of his family in the home where he grew up in Tupelo. Okay, here he is in his military gear. Are on display at the Elvis Presley Museum in Memphis, Tennessee. You know, I gotta go to Memphis. I'm going to Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee. I have been to Nashville multiple times now and Knoxville, but I don't know when I went to. Last time I was in Memphis, I was probably 20-something years old. I should probably And we had a great time at the blues clubs and stuff. Okay, here's more about the Oregon Trail. All right, that's all pretty interesting. Life and money. Look at this. This is the first good review I've seen of this new Wicked. I feel like every review I've seen is saying it's not good. And this says it's wicked good. All right, if anybody's seen it, let me know. Also, I had told my boys, I said, let's go see Running Man when you're all home. And they were like, yeah, okay. But then I kind of talked to them. They're like, that doesn't look that good. But I saw the preview. I thought it looked good. And I liked Running Man in the 80s. So let me know if you've seen that, if it's good or not. Look at this. He gave this 3.5 stars out of 4. Okay. Wow. This is such a different review. How do you follow up a pop culture extravaganza like Wicked with a sequel that emphasizes feelings rather than showstoppers? A darker yet crowd-pleasing narrative and more Wizard of Oz references than you can drop a house on. Wow, I can't believe this review. Every review I've seen has been like, not very good. Making Waves, Zach Bryan. It's been a whirlwind rise to the top for Zach Bryan, but his feet are finally on the ground. In a candid Instagram post on November 18th, the Grammy-winning country singer 29 opened up about how a recent cross-country motorcycle trip helped him realize he needed mental health support. Bryan shared he felt stuck in a perpetual disconnect, which left him always reaching for alcohol, adding that he has dealt with anxiety and earth-shattering panic attacks. But after seeing a therapist and addressing his toxic relationship with booze, Bryan said he hasn't had alcohol for nearly 2 months. He ended, I feel great. I feel content. I feel whole. Well, good for him. These are all the birthdays. Goldie Hawn is 80. Bjork is 60. Horoscope. All right, who wants their horoscope read? I'm gonna close my eyes. Right there. Scorpio. Envisioning a plan to grow your resources, finances, and self-esteem shine brighter. What? What does that mean? Finances and self-esteem shine brighter. Let's just read them all because I'm not a believer in these, by the way. My sister loves the horoscopes. Okay. Your vision is sharpening. This is Aries. Aries, March 21st to April 19th. Your vision is sharpening. What promising horizon are you ready to chase, even if how to get there is unclear? Okay. Taurus, April 20th to May 20th. Do you have the courage to share some of your deepest truths? Intimacy sparks adventure. Wow. Okay. Gemini. Hold on. Okay. Gemini, May 21st to June 21st. Relationships are ready for a glow up. Sagittarius season shines a light on how you can expand as a team. Wait a minute, what are the dates? May 20. I don't know any Geminis. I'm a Sag. Yes, I am. Cancer, June 22nd to July 22nd. Sagittarius season reimagines your work and health journey in a new light. I don't know anybody like that. Okay. July 23rd to August 22nd. This is my sister. Creativity! Exclamation point. Romance. Oh. Risks. This sounds sketchy. All are on the docket with the arrival of Sagittarius season. Ready to go for it? Oh my gosh. Is she going to have an affair or something? Creativity, romance, risks. I got to send her that. Okay, Virgo, August 23rd to September 22nd. Say hello to Sagittarius season. Feel called to explore your roots. That was a question. Family, home, and history step into the spotlight. I think that's my husband. September. Yeah, I think so. Say hello to Sagittarius. Feel called to explore your roots. Family, home, and history step into the spotlight. I don't know about that. I don't know. Libra. Go, go, go. Sagittarius season puts you in grind mode. Be sure to check your calendar before you overcommit. There's like a bazillion sirens down the road from me right now. I don't know what's going on. Oh my God. Scorpio. October 24th to November 21st. Envisioning a plan to grow your resources. I already read that one. Finances and self-esteem shine bright. Okay, now we're on to me. Sagittarius. Here we go. All right. November 22nd to December 21st. My birthday is December 16th. Sluggish days are over as vitality pours back into you. Wow. You know what? Kind of true. Step into the spotlight with the arrival of Sagittarius season. I was feeling a bit low a few weeks ago with the change in the, just being darker all the time. But I've started just walking after dark and and then I started doing dance lessons when it's really wet and cold and I didn't feel like being outside on these videos on YouTube. And it really kind of brought some joy to my life I've been having, but I cannot dance. When they say left, right, I'm like, I can't. My brain doesn't work that way. But every day I just do an 8 count and then I practice it throughout the day. And all of a sudden your brain just knows it. It's wild how it works. And so I've been doing these dances, and then even though it doesn't go along with my ASMR, and I know some of you are probably like, why is she doing this? I've been sharing them in the shorts, and really weird today, this morning, I look and in the last hour, before I filmed this, the newest one that's Ray, it's a cool song. It's got 3,000 views in under an hour. And it's making me nervous because I am not a dancer and I don't want people going what a fool, what are you doing? It's making me feel paranoid. But here we are. But yeah, so that's kind of brought some joy to my life and exercise. So I recommend it. Even if you are really bad at dancing, at first you're like, I will never get this. The last one I did with the ring, you go, I want a ring, and you put your hand up and you put your hand out, and you put it around your face. It seems simple, but I'm just trying to learn. I'm I can't. And then it goes so fast. It's it goes so fast. And you're I'll never learn this. But I tell you, after 3 days of doing it, it's your brain knows how to do it. It's crazy. Anyway, I just practice it in the shower. I practice it once when I first get up while I'm brewing my coffee. I just kind of do it any chance I get. Okay, Capricorn so in other words, I believe in horoscopes apparently. Capricorn is a spiritual sabbatical calling your name. Set aside time to learn and grow. Meditation suits you. Capricorns are December 22nd to January 19th. I have a niece who's a Capricorn. Aquarius, January 20th to February 18th. Be amongst your community. Sagittarius season lights up your social life. Book up your calendar with meets and greets. Nice for Aquarius. Pisces, that's my twins. They're Pisces. I didn't know that until just now when I looked at this. February 19th to March 20th. Have faith in your success. Ready to go for the gold? Ambition can take you far. That's kind of perfect for them, actually. Both of them, I think, are contemplating looking for new jobs, just to kind of I don't know, maybe. Wait a minute. What's my other son? Oh, he's Virgo. Wait. Oh, that's interesting. Both my son and my husband are Virgos. There you go. All right. So Danson is nauseatingly in love with his co-star, who's his wife, Mary Steenburgen. Okay. Wicked. What does this say? What's his name? Crudup or Crudup? Sees life lesson in Jay Kelly. I kind of think he's an interesting actor to watch. He was in this show where they were like selling, it was like selling swampland in Florida, but it was like sort of retro future. And they were selling land on the moon, but they didn't really yet have a way to get there. And I liked him. The show wasn't that great, but he's fun to watch. And he was in Morning Show. Is that what it's called? Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston. I only watched like one season of that. But all right, Pride's Roots. Why every visitor to New York should stop at the Stonewall Inn. Yeah, that's an interesting story too. The Stonewall Inn. It was they called it a gay club back then, I think, and the police like targeted it and went in there. I don't know, there's a whole story. I'd have to like remind myself, but that could be an interesting story too. Ships are staying longer in port for after dark offerings. I like the idea of that. On a cruise, if they stayed longer so you could like go to restaurants at night and stuff. Could be kind of fun. Or overnight, Cruises can often feel like a collection of day trips, yes, with ships dipping in and out of ports in as little as 8 hours. Guests typically arrive early in the morning and depart in the late afternoon. However, if you're in a place, it's nice to know that the crowds will dissipate once the cruise ships leave. That's why I felt in Hawaii. Sometimes I'm like, once this cruise ships are out here. However, Azamara, I don't know, that's a cruise ship line, is working to corner the night owl market. Yeah, it's kind of fun. Those smaller ships can do that. Code Share is helping travelers fly on one ticket. All right. Here are 50 states, things going on. Let's see if we happen to see anything. Just skimming it here. The Hawaiian Humane Society said it's seen an increase in cases of feline panleukopenia, a highly contagious and even fatal disease in cats. Oh no. Oh no, I don't like that. I don't know. I don't know if I see anything interesting here. Let's see. We have, I don't know. Alaska, Juneau. Crude oil production from Alaska is forecast to reach 477,000 barrels per day in 2026, the highest since 2018. Arizona Phoenix Tesla Inc. has received the state-level permits required to operate a robo-taxi ride-sharing service in Phoenix. Well, Phoenix already has, what's it called? They have self-driving cars that drive you around. Phoenix is super flat. So, and like the roads are it's kind of an easier place to manage, I think. And the weather's, dry usually. But yeah, so Tesla coming in, what's the name of the service? There's somebody from Phoenix, remind me. I can't think of it. But, so they'll have a lot of that kind of thing. In Wilmington, Delaware State Police data shows crashes are climbing in the I-95 construction zone, where a bridge parapet has drawn weeks of public concern. Troopers documented 9 crashes at the site in 2024 and 15 crashes so far in 2025. Good grief. An increase that comes as drivers continue to question the safety of the concrete wall dividing northbound travel lanes. What? I don't understand why that should cost. Increase that comes as drivers continue to question the safety. Are they crashing into the wall? Like, what's happening? I don't know. Boy, a whole lot of nothing interesting. Okay, the Indiana Music History Project will release 50 completed video interviews with influential figures in Indiana music as part of its oral history project, a piece of its ongoing efforts to document the state's music tapestry. That's cool. I like that. This says Salina, Kansas. The African Children's Choir will be performing at 3 different Salina churches on November 23rd and 28th. Tina Sipp, choir manager, said the purpose is to help stand in the gap for children from impoverished backgrounds to get the education needed. I need to have more context for that story. York, Maine. The town is hiring geotechnical engineering firm to produce a report on the historic Cliff Walk, taking a step toward reopening the seaside path. Huh. Interesting. That's kind of what one of my sons does. He is sort of, I don't know if he'd say he's a geotechnical engineer, but he kind of works at a firm like that, I guess. I don't know what my kids do, honestly. I don't know. I told my one son, I said, when you're home, I want you to give me a minute-by-minute walkthrough of your day so I understand what you do for a living. I really don't. St. Paul, Minnesota, Fargo-based R.D. Foote Farms, one of the largest potato growers in the world, agreed to pay $82,000 to 442 workers for failing to provide sick leave in 2024. Shame on you. What's wrong with these companies? All right. Well, all right. Ooh, what is this? Montana, Billings. Zoo Montana announced that 2 bobcat kittens have arrived, making them the first ever bobcats in zoo history. It's kind of cute, but you hate to think these kittens are now going to be caged their whole lives, but I don't know. Concord, New Hampshire. Students in New Hampshire community colleges will benefit from a $50,000 grant from Metallica's All Within My Hands Foundation, according to a community announcement. Oh, that's cool. This is the second consecutive year the community college system of New Hampshire has received funding from the Metallica Scholars Initiative. Well, good for Metallica. All right. I don't know. There's just 2. What is this? Chincoteague, Virginia. Assateague Island National Seashore has announced that the Toms Cove Visitor Center in Virginia unit has closed permanently. Oh, that's not that exciting. I thought it'd be something about the ponies. That's another video I should do. The ponies that go swim. All right. Yeah, I do want to do that. Let me write that down. I don't know where my sheet went, where my ideas go. All right, Kylie Kelsey's Disney trip proves moms need backup. No U.S. airline is in global top 10 according to AirHelp. What? Here's how AirHelp ranks the major U.S. carriers overall. American Airlines, this is the highest to lowest, I guess. United, Delta, Frontier. Okay. Hawaiian, Southwest. I fly Southwest a lot. I've had pretty good luck on Southwest. I don't know. Although now they're doing the assigned seating, I actually kind of liked it when it was just wild. Just take what you get. Alaska Airlines, JetBlue, and these are the top 10 globally. Qatar Airways. I've never even heard of this. Etihad Airways. Oh, that's United Arab Emirates. Virgin Atlantic, Qantas, KM Malta, Aero Mexico, Oman Air, Saudi, Brussels, LOT, Pleasure. I don't think I've ever been on any of these. I don't think so. I'm trying to think what I took to Croatia. Because the fun thing was they served you wine. But it was like a really weird time. It was like, I don't know if it was first thing in the morning. I don't remember what it was. Because the time change. And they accidentally skipped my sister and I. I don't know what happened. And at first we're like, well, wait a minute, we want our wine. And then we realized it's like, we got to go to bed. Or we got to wake up. Or I forget what. Like, never mind. We don't really want it. Anyway. What was that? Oh, it was Lufthansa, I think. They don't have that in here. We thought it was nice. I'm surprised by Frontier being number 4. I think I've had good luck with American. I feel like, I can't remember if it was Delta or United. My sister said I will never fly them again. I've had so many bad experiences, but I can't remember which one now. Yeah. Anyway. All right, there you go. Sports. I don't know if I can do sports because I do so much sports. You know, in my NFL videos. Weather forecast. NFL Week 12 preview. I'd have to remember what I picked for each of these games, but I do a video where I pick the winners. What do they say? Let's see. I think we picked the Packers. The Vikings must support struggling young QB J.J. McCarthy by featuring RB Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. And the key to stopping the Packers is stuffing the run and making Green Bay one-dimensional against two deep coverage shells. For the Packers, capitalizing on turnover opportunities will be vital. They don't give their picks. I give picks. The Bears, your Steelers at the Bears. The Bears have a league best 5 fourth quarter comebacks. It's hard to bet against Chicago right now, especially if the Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers with a wrist fracture is sidelined. But the Bears' pass defense has been suspect all season. I think I said just about exactly that. Due to an injury-riddled secondary. So the Steelers should attack downfield no matter who they start as quarterback. The Bears have to capitalize in the red zone. Their offense is the NFL's most explosive, but it has failed to take advantage in the red zone, scoring TDs just 55% of the time. I think I picked the Bengals. Eagles. I'm pretty sure I picked the Eagles. Anyway, all right. Well, there you have it. That is all the news that's fit to report. I could eat that right now. Not really. Hot dogs give me heartburn, kind of, because I don't eat. I don't eat a lot of hot dogs. Let's just put it that way. All right, look at that. I almost finished my cup. Usually I forget about it.